Hey everybody, this is Kohdok here, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about Zack Storm Super Pirate. I know I've already done a whole video about Zack Storm, about the game, and how it is a loot box filled mess, and I'm just going to follow up some more on it because, believe it or not, this series has generated more for me to talk about. Now, the app itself, believe it or not, is still around. It's actually still getting updated. It got an update like yesterday, one that sort of fixed a few mechanics and broke some others in the process. But just a quick rundown of what Zack Storm is. Zack Storm is by a company called Zag Heroes, which are the people behind the Miraculous Ladybug. And the people who made the toys for the Miraculous Ladybug, at least in the United States, was Bandai, a company known more for Power Rangers and the like. Now, Zack Storm seems to be a series that was tailor-made for Bandai, because Bandai, you know, they're famous for things like the Power Rangers toys, the Kamen Rider toys, the toys that talk, with the talking weapons, where you put like the special coin or the special item into them and the toy talks. So what does Zack Storm have? It has a character named Calibras. He is a talking sword that has these special pearls called the Eyes of the Sea, which allow him to unleash special powers and talk about it. So, Zag Heroes basically went up to Bandai and said, hey, we know how much you like making series with talking weapons, so we have a series with a talking sword called Calibras, so the kinds of toys you're gonna make are...
Loot box!
I'm sorry, what was that?
Loot box! Loot box!
Yeah, loot boxes. They're a great idea. Everybody loves loot boxes. They're never going to be a public relations nightmare, and oh dear, we messed up. Okay, yeah, that is kind of my core problem with the Zack Storm toy line. Well, one of the core problems. It's got two major ones. The first one is that they were basically handed a Bandai-tastic toy concept on a silver platter, and they did not go with it. I honestly think that, like, a talking Calibras figure that you could, like, collect all the special Eyes of the Sea for would have made an awesome toy. It might have been a tad bit on the pricey side, but I think people would have gone for it. I mean, it's a talking pirate sword. That's cool. Instead, what did they go with? They went with a loot box system. They made an app that seemed to exist solely to tie in to the show, but they made it, you know, pretty much about as bad as EA did with Star Wars Battlefront 2. I've made that comparison once already, but one thing I have discovered is that the treasure system is actually similar to the one for Pokemon Duel, where in Pokemon Duel you also have a limited number of spots where you can put treasure chests and you can only unlock one at a time. But here's the thing about Pokemon Duel, is that's not the only thing you can do in the game. You can also observe story mode, or go and play in a special event, or go into one of the rooms, or there are a number of things that you can do in Pokemon Duel that have nothing to do with the treasure boxes, whereas in Zack Storm, the only way you can play the game is by opening the treasure boxes. It's the only way to level up your characters and things like that, and also, if all of your treasure slots get filled, you basically cannot play the main game. So, I mean, they do have some other things you can do, like you can sync it up to an episode of the show that unlocks an additional minigame, but you can only do that every 2 hours, and it used to be every 12 hours. That's one thing that they have done in the updates, is they have lowered the cooldown times on a lot of things. The treasure chests now have a much lower cooldown. Some have been cut by half, some have been cut down to a quarter. They've basically done that, but in my opinion, it's sort of too little too late, because the loot box system is still completely intrinsic to how the game is played, and right now it's just running damage control on a bad idea. I'm actually kind of surprised it's still getting support. I guess that means it must be getting in some money, or Zack Storm is gearing up for another series, but it clearly isn't anything related to the toys, because I have seen the toys sold in 2 different stores, and one of them has marked it down to half price, and the other one is going out of business, so that speaks volumes about the line. But it has given me the chance to finally be able to pick some of these up at a price I'll agree to, and boy, does it have a lot of problems. So what these collectible treasure packs are is they contain these sort of special coins, and what these coins do is they'll have a QR code on the back, like what you would see with like the Yokai Watch, Yokai medals or something. What you do is you can scan those into the game in order to get some special benefits. The problem with that is it is a loot box system, and it's also a terrible design for a collectible because once you scan the code on the back of the coins, I mean, what do you do with them? You can't trade them. The codes are one-time use. You can't hand them off to friends or anything like that. And what are these things? They're just, you know, the freaking Chuck E. Cheese coins. You know, the pirate treasure coins that you spend your last remaining Chuck E. Cheese ticket on before you go home. They're the sorts of things that you can buy by the bushel at a party store, and a pack of 4 of these things used to cost $5. So each of these coins costs you $1.25, and that's not even the start of this. Like this collectible treasure here. Now, what you really want to collect are the red coins and the black coins, and some of these skull coins too. The red coins are the only way, they give you a lot of cards that allow you to level up your characters. The things you want the most are things that level up your characters and your special attacks. But so obviously that is what you would be buying these sorts of packs for, but and that's like this character here, the 2 Zack Storm cards, the black coins here, the skull cards here, the green cards here. But here's the thing. According to the collector list, you cannot actually get any of those coins inside of the packs. You cannot get the red coins or the black coins or even these Eye of Sinnoh coins inside the packs. The things that you'd buy the packs for, they're not even in there. So that's actually really dishonest. I mean, I can understand why they wouldn't put these red coins inside of the packs. I mean, if people could just get the coins inside the packs, why would they buy the action figures? But you don't go and then put those coins on the front of the pack when you can't get them in there. That's just dishonest. That's false advertising right there. It's like somebody telling you that you can go and catch a Pikachu in this one area and then saying, oh, by the way, there aren't any Pikachus in here. That's, like I said, that is yet another example of the poor design here, and it's something that affects the whole thing. Now, every single one of these packs contains a treasure chest coin, and these are basically worthless. They contain gold, which you cannot actually use to buy anything in this game. The gold is what is called the useless currency in a free-to-play game. They give you tons of this useless currency because you can't actually use it for anything, or if you are using it for anything, it's just to level up characters, which you must buy with the premium currency. Now, there are some tokens that can get you the premium currency, in this case, the gems, but there's a problem with these too. The gem coins give you 35 gems, or at least the one that I got gave me 35 gems. And keep in mind, this coin basically costs $1.25. Now, for $1, I could instead get 85 coins. So getting one of these coins is not a reward, even in the scale of the game. So, just moving on. And the rest of them are the green and blue support tokens. And these basically give you overworld abilities, which are basically useless. And you get usually 2 greens and a blue, or 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 purple. And a lot of these coins, they just... What they've done is they've basically been given... they're solid plastic coins that have been given a wash, which is where you take some heavily diluted black paint and swipe it over the surface, which causes the thinned out paint to go into the various cracks and crevices of the molded design to make everything pop more. It is figure painting 101. Now, it looks pretty good on this treasure chest here, but on a lot of them, it just looks terrible. Like this, like the health pack here. The health pack, since it has that big flat surface, it just makes it look really bulbous and ugly. Kind of the same with this magnifying glass here. Now the shield here, the shield actually looks pretty decent because it has a lot of good texture for it to cling to, but so many of them either don't have enough crisp edges to really grab onto the paint, or the spaces they have are so large that you can just tell just how terrible they look. And like I said, the only way to get these is by getting the character packs. And the character action figures, they are a problem as well. So just for reference, I'm going to put up my Dawn figure here. Now, my Dawn figure is something I have used for measurement on many occasions because she is exactly 6 inches tall. So let's compare how big she is compared to a Zack Storm figure. Yep. So yeah, here's my Dawn figure compared to the Zack Storm action figure. That sure looks like a good use of $8, doesn't it? These are like barely 3 inches tall. I don't think he's even 3 inches tall. I don't think he doesn't even reach the bottom of Dawn's skirt there. These action figures are incredibly small, and I mean, I can understand why they'd be made that small. It's because these characters are supposed to go on like some special play sets. Let's see if I have a picture of them here. Yeah, the special play sets that come with the characters, it means that they don't have to make the play sets be terribly huge in order to play with them, but I'm looking at this thing and I can't help but think of just how much of that sum is expected to go into this stupid little piece of plastic coin with a code on the back that they gave you along with it. And honestly, it's probably because of the articulation, but you don't really need to give too much articulation to a figure that is this tiny. Like I said, they want $8 for something that is smaller than basically every other action figure on the market, and that doesn't help. And if that wasn't bad enough, wait till you see the lineup they have for these guys. So here's the box for Zack Storm, and any of you who have watched any Zack Storm might notice that somebody is missing from this lineup. Hey, where's Cece? You know, one of the main characters. I'm honestly surprised that Skullivar beat out not just Cece, but also Golden Bones. Those are the two characters that do a whole lot more in the show, and frankly, I would have expected them to receive an action figure form first, but I guess Bandai is still in the camp that girls are icky, and so making the one action figure of the girl is just so totally against their ideas, even though, you know, it's kind of what's necessary to finish out the crew, but no, we have to have Skullivar instead. Jeez. So, that's a little more detail on Zack Storm Super Pirate. I hope I don't really have to talk about this series much more, but it's another cautionary tale about toy design, similar to what you got with Redikai. It is a colossal example of a toy company playing against its strengths, and also another example of the sorts of problems that come with the sort of predatory practices that have been approaching app gaming and gaming in general. Remember, this is a loot box-centered game aimed at children. So, once again, that is a look at Zack Storm Super Pirate. It's still on the App Store, although I still don't recommend playing it. And until next time, this is Kohdok signing off.